Hey everyone, my name is Taps and it's happening again. I have about 18 other ideas on videos I want to do, including other projects, but Ecomi and Veve are dropping news every other day. It's getting really exciting again. Today I'll be covering a Veve whale price war that is happening right now, the recent Captain America comic drop that just happened today, what the heck is Throg, which I see that they just put out a Medium article, why you should be excited about it, and the piece de resistance, the new massive license that is MGM, and of course, 007. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the community and feel free to subscribe. I'm a crypto, stock, and real estate investor, but never a financial advisor. All right, so as I mentioned, there is a big whale price war that is happening within the Veve app that is actually really interesting. They're basically competing to see which Veve collectible is king. If you watch my past two other videos, or my past video, more importantly, I showed how the Marvel comic #1 has shot up to incredible amount of money. I think the floor is around 40K. And at that time, before that, Donnie was the highest price collectible and has been in the app for quite some time now at roughly around 32 to 37K. And the Marvel comic, again, will roughly shop around $3,000 to $40,000 in just a few weeks. But the Donnie whales weren't going to just sit by and take that, because there is a lot of strength in Donnie because it is such a low mint and so few whales have it. They weren't ready to give up the crown as the leading, most expensive collectible in the Veve app. And so just in the past day or two, Donnies went up almost double. As you can see here, they were roughly around $37,000 to now $77,000 to $79,000 for the floor on a Donnie. I guarantee this won't be the only type of value wars that we see in the Veve collectibles and comics. In other news, Veve actually continues to grab spotlight, but this time more so in the comic world publications. And shout out to Michael Redeman for posting this and tagging all of us. This article came out on newsbtc.com, Ecomi and Veve, the mom and pop of NFT comics and illustrated books. It goes into highlighting Ecomi and Veve's success, how they're changing the landscape for comic and illustrated books, and they highlight Veve in extremely very bullish ways where I think they know where Veve is going. They say OMI, the token behind Veve, has made huge plays to put Veve on the map by partnering with superhero comic powerhouse Marvel and DC, and even landing a deal with The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Strong price action lately. It is safe to say that this is a company, app, and token that you should have on your radar if you're interested in comics and NFTs that have potential looking forward. In this new world of potential gold, it's hard these days to ignore any company that takes on high client projects with good reputations, with unique communities across the world. With the new investments left and right into immersive NFTs, augmented reality, and other metaverse components, Ecomi and Veve are making the strides necessary in securing strong IP partners to future-proof the brand. They get it. Veve is king, and they are going to make sure that they remain king well after NFT craze pops, and they stay. Next news we had was the Captain America #1 Sam Wilson comic, The Falcon. Just dropped 30K, sold out almost instantly. I only snagged one, of which, of course, it was a common. I've actually never ever been able to pull a secret rare from a drop, so I'm going to, of course, keep trying, and I think that's part of the allure of these massive comics is if you get a secret rare, you can hold it and cherish it as a collector and watch it grow in value, or you can flip it for a $7 investment to a couple grand to, if not 10, 20 grand. But this Captain America, this Falcon Sam Wilson version, Throg, and 007, all being announced in the same week, seem like a very, very big breadcrumb that Veve is aligning more with the TV and movie side of things. As we can see, Captain America 4 in the works with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we saw the show come to Disney Plus, and the emphasis is on Sam Wilson picking up the shield and donning the role of the Cap. I believe we'll see more of this in alignment with the Marvel movies on Captain America as well as Disney Plus. So I think bringing more attention to Sam Wilson as the Cap, first as a Marvel Mighty, now the comic, is a smart move. on to Throg, Frog of Thunder. Some of you are probably like, what is this? We want Thor, not Throg. Well, again, keep in mind, Veve doesn't make inopportune moves. They only focus on opportunity and what's going to sell and what's going to line well. So I'm actually excited for this one, and I'll get into why. So there's actually two versions of Throg. There's the version where Thor himself was turned into actual Throg, and then this is the Simon Watterson version, who was cursed by a witch and turned into Frog and donned the mighty hammer Frog Yolner. This will be dropped in blind box format, so there are 3 versions. Every single version will cost $50. There will be a only 6,600 edition of the uncommon, only 4,200 of the rare, and only 2,080 of the ultra rare. So roughly there's about 12,500 of these leaping heroes that are going to be dropped. So that's not a lot. But again, this is opportune. So if you had a chance to watch the Loki series, which if you haven't, highly recommend you do on Disney Plus. It was awesome. There are some things that happen into it that I would love to talk about, but I don't want to give away what happens. One thing that we see is we can see Throg is actually cameoed in a scene in the show Loki, which why would they do that? Why would they choose to show that? Well, we can see that there was an article that came out on Giant Freaking Robot, exclusive Chris Hemsworth returning to Marvel as Frog Thor. This was put out 7 days ago. Detective Tap is always on the case. The appearance of Throg, Frog Thor, in Loki Season 1 was so fabulously unexpected. Apparently Marvel is into this though, and so is Hemsworth. Thanks to work on one of our trusted and proven inside sources, we've learned that Throg is going to be in Loki Season 2 and have a bigger role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe overall. And I took time to actually try and find some Throg collectibles or statues that matched up, and I couldn't find any. So again, this is most likely another Veve exclusive created content with the Marvel partnership like the Mighties. So people can't get a Throg NFT. It exists through the partnership and created with Veve, I believe. But there's going to be a lot less of these Throgs than there are the Marvel Mighties. And this is a great precursor to get this one before people find out about Throg. It's going to be in the movies. It's going to be more in Loki. Like, people will have a passion for this character. Watch. Now on to the major news. Veve just announced a partnership with MGM and Eon Production to launch the NFT of James Bond's No Time to Die, which the movie is coming out in October. That's right. Veve is now working with major movie releases and the companies behind them, like a massive company like MGM, you know, the Lion. What other companies are doing this? What other NFT companies are doing this? Not many, if any. Why? Because major blockbuster movies aren't going to educate their fans on how to set up a MetaMask and all that, but they can tell you to download this Veve app, which is in the App Store and one of the top 10 grossing entertainment apps. And then you can get yourself a Daniel Craig or whatever they're releasing for the 007 film. This is massive. It's James Bond. It's 007, the man of mystery, a staple hero the world has seen for decades and has been portrayed by major actors for years. And this is another speculation that we've spoken about that has just been proven. You're familiar with Al Khan, head of global licensing at Ecomi, the man who brought Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh to the US. And we've spoken about all of the other brands that he is actually responsible for. This is an old article from 2018. And we've mentioned that he has other brands under his belt, including Nintendo, Mario Brothers, Zelda, Donkey Kong, James Bond, World Wrestling Federation, Monster Jam, Monsters Trucks, Xbox. This is an Ecomi article. This breadcrumb has been sitting here for 3 years. I wonder what other brands have been sitting here for years and have been mentioned time and time out that both Al Khan and David Yu have experience in working with over their decades of experience. All right, enough speculation. MGM is a massive license. They are one of the biggest names in movies, TV, and some video games as well. We can see 007, they do The Voice, they have that new Aretha Franklin movie, Respect Out, Survivor. tons of different movies that they are responsible for. You can see Bill and Ted Face the Music, which we already have, right? We can see Addams Family over here, which I've seen a lot of recent ads for. And don't they just already look like they belong in the Veve app? Creed and Tomb Raider. These kind of stick out to me as well. They have major franchises: James Bond, Handmaid's Tale, Rocky franchise, Pink Panther, Vikings, Legally Blonde, Stargate, and RoboCop. And there are tons of companies underneath MGM: Big Fish, Evolution, Gato Grande, Lightworkers, Orion Pictures, UA, and plenty of networks. And again, video games. So we can see Creed is a video game. Addams Family has a video game. I know Legally Blonde does as well. And do with this info what you will, but this article came out 3 weeks ago. From James Bond to Legally Blonde, MGM focuses on modernized nostalgia in video games push. The Hollywood giant tells us about its plans for video games space as it seeks to revitalize dormant franchises. In recent years, we've seen more movie franchises being adapted into high-end games that act as standalone entries rather than glorified merchandise, most notably from Disney and its ever-growing portfolio of blockbuster IP. The company has been paying particularly close attention to how the likes of Disney and Warner Bros. Disney owns Marvel, which we have Marvel, and Warner Bros. Have been expanding their franchises with video games. They go on to talk about Insomniac's Spider-Man games. They continue to mention Disney and Warner Bros. More, how MGM is focused on nostalgia, which so is Veve, and modernized nostalgia is the key. And why do we say Veve is going to beat everyone else? Why are they king? Because IP is king, and brands and largest companies in the world know this. Like its rivals, MGM has a strong portfolio of IP with over 4,000 films to its name. MGM is hoping to explore with video games James Bond, Legally Blonde, Pink Panther, Addams Family, Rocky, Creed, RoboCop, Stargate, and Vikings. They also talk about last year how they saw the unveiling of IO's interactive Project 007, and the company has announced a Legally Blonde mobile game in development. Now, why am I talking about this? It's just, again, more future thought. I'm not saying that video games and all this is coming to Veve, and they even said themselves, right? Like, they're not so interested in becoming a play to earn, which thank goodness they're not. And they're more focused on what they're doing. But when it comes to gamification and actually building that side out, they're not going to necessarily build it themselves. I think it was Trevor who was saying something like this, but they would more likely partner with organizations that are. And now, this is of course not confirmation of anything, but this did just stick out to me in the article. Basically said MGM is not holding out for the most acclaimed AAA studios to be available for their games. The company is interested in partnering with developers of all sizes, and it's open to more innovative ideas on how to adapt its IP rather than the more obvious adaptations seen in decades past. So again, MGM is a major license, but finally, I'm going to leave you with this little nugget. In order to sign and engage with MGM, it would make sense that they would have had to engage with the parent company as well, right? Well, as of news from May this year, who owns MGM? Amazon. Amazon bought MGM Studios for $8.45 billion. This was announced in May. The deal is Amazon's second largest acquisition, where it paid $13.7 billion for Whole Foods back in 2017. So Veve signed a deal with MGM, who is owned by Amazon. And going through the acquisition integrations right now, I imagine it's probably crazy, but this was just announced that MGM, who is owned by Amazon, signed with Veve. I have nothing articulate to leave you with. Ecomi and Veve are going to the frickin' moon. As always, I hope you found my content valuable, and if so, please leave a like and a comment down below. The likes and comments appease the algo overlords and help my channel to continue to grow. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell for future content. That's it for today. I'm Taps. Thank you for your time, and happy trading.